Hi, I'm Deborah Sadler, and I am the author of the trilogy Words of the Temple, A New Humanity, which is a set of books about how we are moving from the dark to the light, from separation consciousness to unity consciousness, and fear to love. And I want to talk about what's going on all over the news and how the focus about this Epstein situation is all about how can we bring down a man or bring down a political party. And I don't hear any discussion about the fact that this situation with the Epstein goings on is the tip of the iceberg. This is going on all over the planet. And children are being used. They're being abused. They are being trafficked for sex all around the globe. And no one's talking about that. All they can talk about is this one little piece of issue that we have something to bring down this man. Why don't we start talking about how there is a cabal, a ring of sex traffickers who are doing terrible things to our children. And I've talked about this before on this channel, how we know that some of the religions have had to deal with this same thing. And what we need to do is stop talking about he, her, who, and start talking about the children that are victims and continue to be victims, and how this is a very serious issue, and it is a social rights issue that is taking place on our planet, and no one is looking at the children. No one is admitting that this is about trafficking children for sex, and that this is the tip of the iceberg. And so as a country, we, and as a community of Earth people, we need to rise up and stop the sex trafficking of children. And that's where the focus of everyone should be. It should not be on how we're going to use this one example to bring down a tyrant. You know what? Why don't we move past the tyrant and start looking at the source of what is taking place and the money that is involved in trafficking children, and how this is a global issue. We need to bring this out into the open, and we need to focus on the rights of the children, and we need to focus on stopping this so that these children are no longer abused as they have been forever. And so I would like to see the focus shift to the children and shift to how we can stop this from happening around the globe. How can we come together and save the children who are caught up in this global crime ring that is making lots of money for people who may or may not be running our government? But they are beside the point. The point is we need to stop child sex abuse and child sex trade and child sex trafficking on this planet. We need to come together and do what's right for the children. And the politicians and all that goes on around them will take care of themselves in terms of ridding the bad eggs. So let's focus on stopping child sex trafficking on this globe. Let's put our focus there. We've been made very aware that it is an issue that is absolutely been ongoing and is global. So why don't we take a stance and focus on the children and let the politics of the whole thing work its way out, while we are focusing on protecting the children on this planet from the predators that we see being spoken about. And this needs to stop. It's part of the dark, it's part of fear, it's part of cruelty, it's part of what we are moving past, because we are moving into the light, and we need to take compassionate action for the children on this planet that have been used and abused and continue to be used and abused for the pleasure of rich old men. And so that's my little diatribe. We need to stop this. We need to nip this in the bud, and that's where our focus needs to be, on stopping child sex trafficking at a global level. I hope you join me in putting the focus on saving the children. Everyone, have a great week.